and they're going crazy. Look at them. They're losing their minds.
Hey friends, welcome back to A Homesteading Hustle. Today we're going to talk about stretching the dollar on your chicken feed. With the rising costs of chicken food and just food in general, we want to try to save a dollar wherever we can. And actually fermenting your chicken feed can be a great way to do that. So I've done this a few different ways and a few different times with water and with actual sourdough starter discard. And today we're going to do both of those, as well as using some whey that I have left over from some cheese that I had made. So we're going to do 3 different versions of a fermented chicken feed. And now we're going to use just kind of a basic corn scratch grain today. Just kind of a basic corn scratch here. There's some crumble in there. Definitely some kind of powdery residue, which often will get left behind when your chickens start packing away. And that can be a huge waste, especially if your chickens aren't very thorough in their eating. So it's a great way to make sure you're getting the most out of your chicken feed bag is to actually use this fermentation process. Once we add the liquid to it, it really kind of becomes a nice cohesive unit, and it with the fermentation in there, you get those added probiotics that are great for the gut health of the chicken. Heard so much about fermentation for humans being great for gut health, and it's definitely good for your animals as well. So we're going to just do this really quick, and I'm going to show you just 3 different fermentations. We're going to start them today, and then over the course of the next 3 days, I'll just kind of show you where they're at. Usually with a fermentation, you can go anywhere. You can just do 1 day, you can do 3 days. You can definitely do longer if you're hands-on with it every day. You just want to make sure that you stir it every day, make sure there's no mold building up. Obviously you don't want to give your animals anything moldy. You just want to get kind of that basic, initial fermentation going. And again, that's going to be really beneficial for your animals. So we're just going to scoop into, we're going to use, if you have large buckets, that's going to be best if you have a large amount that you want to make. For demonstration purposes today, I'm going to use a few smaller containers. We're just going to use some of these little recycled containers. And we're going to put lids on them. With any fermentation, if you do have some gases develop, your lid might pop slightly. You don't have to fully cover it. If you want to just cover it with a towel or whatnot, just depends on if you have other animals that are going to want to try to get in it. We do have, obviously we have cats and dogs. If you've been around here for a while, you've seen the other animals that we have. So I'm going to put lids on them to make sure that none of the other critters get into them. So we're just going to use these. We're going to do water, sourdough discard, and the whey. And now the whey, because it was from cheese that I had made, it does have some vinegar in it. And that's really going to aid in fermentation anyways. And so that is not bad by any means. And especially if this is just a white distilled vinegar that I used in there. Some people do use apple cider vinegar. And actually a nice tip for winter is to add a little bit of vinegar to your chicken's water anyways. That does help with gut health, as well as help prevent the water from freezing if you have an issue with that. It can be a little added bonus. So we're just going to put some feed in our containers. So we want to make sure when we put the liquid in, we're just going to cover the feed enough so that it'll be fully covered. But not, we want to give it a little space at the top. So we're not going to fill this completely full. We just want to cover the feed and just a little bit more. It's going to absorb that liquid, and if we need to add more as time goes on, we definitely can. We want to make sure we can stir it and not have it a complete liquid when we serve it to the chickens. I find that they eat it the best when it's a little clumpy, almost like an oatmeal. So we're just going to put a little bit of this feed in each of these containers, and I will just show you what it looks like today, and then like I said, we'll show you over the next couple days. We'll stir it at least once a day. You can do more than that if you have time, just to make sure that there's no mold and it gets that aeration going. And then probably on Tuesday, today is Sunday, probably on Tuesday, just for time reasons, I will feed it to the chickens, and we'll see maybe which one they like best. If they go towards one over the others, that might be kind of a fun experiment we can try. So, all right, so we're gonna start, and you see the feed here, and this is just water. I'm going to put it in there. I'll show you here. Okay, so we just want to make sure that we get it all fully covered and submerged. Give it a nice stirring, and you can see there's liquid on the top. Want to make sure it has somewhere to go. It has somewhere to expand, which is why we don't want to put it completely to the brim because it will overflow. This is probably about 1.5 inches of headspace on this container. Like I said, if you have a larger amount that you want to ferment, definitely use a bigger container. I just currently don't have any buckets handy, so this is going to be great for the demonstration today. So there's our water, and I went ahead and pre-labeled our lids here with water. We're just going to cover that, and I will set this aside somewhere where animals and kids can't get to it. We don't want to put it, I'm not going to put it in the garage because it's going to freeze. It's really not going to ferment very well out there. Yeah, we'll just keep it inside somewhere where the temperature is pretty steady. We keep our house around 68, 70 degrees, and that's great for fermentation. If it's warmer, it's going to ferment faster, and you'll get more of those probiotics in there, whatever works for your household. All right, so we got our water done. We're going to do our sourdough starter discard next. So this is a discard. It's been in the fridge for about a month. I just totally ignored it. I have so much starter on hand. And this one, if you can see, it does have hooch on the top there. It is a very hungry starter. I'm going to loosen it up a little bit by giving it a little bit of water. And then we will pour it into our chicken feed. You want to make sure it's easy enough to stir. And because starter is a little bit of a thicker substance, you might need a bigger reservoir. And because it is already fermented, you're going to have more fermentation happening in your container. So if you can create more headspace in your bucket, that's better. So we are going to pour that in there. See, kind of plop in there. Give it a stir. Make sure you get it all completely covered. This is a very healthy sourdough. It actually smells really good. Sometimes sourdough starters smell a little funky. This one smells very healthy. So, and that's going to get really thick. At some point tomorrow when I check on this, if this ends up being too thick and just doesn't have enough space to go, I will transfer it into a bigger container. So we'll check on that tomorrow and we'll see. All right, so that is fully moistened. Now I'm going to add just a little extra water so we do have that submersion happening. All right, that should be golden. You see how there's some liquid on top there. It has somewhere to go. And we have our labeled lid right here. So there's the sourdough. Boom, done. Now our third one is going to be the whey. Now this is that leftover whey with the vinegar in it. This is actually a really large container, so I'm probably going to do a larger batch at some point, but we'll just use a little bit of it today to cover this small batch here. All right. And definitely smells like milky vinegar. If you've never made cheese before, I made cheese for the first time recently, and I was so excited about it. It's been really fun to have raw milk in our house. That's something I've been wanting for years. I finally got around to finding a person who sells it around the area. So there's that for you. Can you see that? So that one, good to go, labeled whey. All right, so we have our 3 ferments ready to go. We will check on these tomorrow, and if we need to make any adjustments, whether that's transferring into a different container or adding more water or adding more sourdough starter or whey, we will do that. So check back with you tomorrow.
Okay, so we are on the next day. Actually, we skipped a day because I had to work late and I kind of forgot. But we're going to check on our ferments today. So we have our whey here, our water ferment, and the sourdough. I was anticipating that this one might grow and expand, so I did put it in another bowl, but we didn't have an issue. I do feel a little bit of pressure underneath this whey lid, which makes me think that that one definitely has some more fermentation going on. So let's open these up and see what they look like inside. Let's start with just the water one. So we'll set these aside. We're going to open the water ferment. I don't feel a lot of pressure here, but it looks great. So we're going to just give this a little bit of a stir. It looks, oh yeah, it's nice and moistened. It definitely smells like wet corn, which is really gross. And one of the things my husband actually brought up really quick yesterday while I was filming is that when he was fermenting feed, when I was pregnant with our third kiddo, I could not stand the smell of this. Like, it smelled like, because it smells like yogurt, a fermentation. It does have a distinct smell, and I just really couldn't handle it. And so, word to the wise, if you don't like the smell of ferments, this can be kind of gross. And if you're pregnant and you're sensitive to smells, just keep that in mind. So, okay, so we're just going to mix that up a little bit. This is actually a really great consistency and kind of ideal for the chickens to enjoy it. They seem to really like the chunkiness of it. That's just what I've noticed. But we can add a little bit of water. I'm just going to add a teeny bit of water just to give it a little more room to grow if it wants to. And give it one more stir. And we'll just cover that back up and we'll let that continue to sit. So next one we'll open is we'll open the whey. Now, like I said, this one I do feel some pressure coming off the top here. We definitely have our whey grains here. This one feels thicker to me. I did probably put more grains in this one, but this one's going to be harder to stir in this small container. But once again, very well moistened. That one does not really stink. That one actually smells kind of good, and I wonder if that's because it has vinegar in it, so that can kind of neutralize the smell a little bit. Yeah, this one doesn't really stink. It just smells, it kind of just smells like whey. And that's going to be full of nutrients. Not only do we have the fermentation here, but we have the extra added benefits from the whey. So they're going to have a little extra protein. And then that vinegar in there is just really great for their digestive system as well. Keeps the acidity in the vinegar is really great to just help keep any kind of like internal parasites and that kind of stuff at bay too, you know, which can sometimes be an issue in the early spring when bugs are coming out and, you know, things are thawing in the coop. If there's any issues with that, you definitely want to make sure you stay on top of it so you don't have sick chickens. So that is ready to go. That is an excellent, excellent choice for fermentation. I actually really like this one. And I like the fact that I felt pressure on here, which tells me that it actually was fermenting a bit. So, last one here is the sourdough. This is the sourdough starter. I don't really feel as much pressure. This one feels just like the water did. Again, very well moistened. It has expanded a lot. This one seems to have expanded quite a bit and is very dense. So, oh, that's so interesting. Yeah, really dense. Well, it makes sense because there's flour in sourdough starter. So we're going to have more of a thick texture here. So actually for this one, I think I'm going to dump this so that I can add some more water to it. We're going to dump this into this larger container. Just do that like this. Get it out. And then I'm just going to add a little bit more water to loosen it up. Now you can definitely add more, you know, of whatever you're mixing in. So with this one, could I add more starter to it? Yeah. The other one, could I add more whey to it? Definitely. But we're just going to keep it really simple. Just add a little water just to loosen it up and continue the ferment process. And this one is very thick. Okay. So it's harder to get out, but that is no problem. It definitely smells like like sourdough starter. So the first one, just the water, smelled like a wet corn fermentation. The whey didn't really have much of a smell. It smelled really mild, but it had the most evidence of fermentation happening. This one definitely has absorbed all the water and all the liquid that was in the starter, and it needs more. So this one has the most expansion. So when you are fermenting feed, one of the reasons that you want to ferment and how it's going to stretch your dollar is because it creates a larger volume. So when your corn or your seeds or your scratch, whatever you're putting in there, whatever you're fermenting, is going to have loose particles, and those loose particles often just get wasted on the ground if your chickens are not super great foragers or really not thorough in their eating. And so fermenting allows that to be absorbed and kind of become a cohesive unit with the rest of the feed. And so you see here, we loosened it up. Now this is like an oatmeal texture, and this has really expanded quite a lot. So the expansion and the volume that you get when you ferment feed is definitely worth it. So you're going to stretch your dollar by expanding the volume, and therefore you're going to use less feed for your chickens and therefore save some money. So we will let this sit for the rest of the day. This is day 3. I did, like I said, I did skip mixing it last night because I got home from work extra late due to some snow. But no big deal. I mean, it was fine. It wasn't that long enough to create like mold or anything issues. And so we're just going to let this sit the rest of the day today. We'll feed it to the chickens later, and we'll see if there's one that they like or prefer over the other. So we have our ferments here in this box, and we are going to bring these out to the chickens and see if they have a preference or if they just dominate, or maybe they, who knows, maybe they'll stick their nose up at it today, but we'll find out. So let's go bring it to them right now. Well, hi. Are you waiting for treats? Okay, girls, okay. So let's figure out where we're going to set this. Say hi, girls. Oh, the ducks are coming to check it out. Okay, so I'm going to start out, and I'm just going to put this large container down. This is the sourdough starter. This is the one that was really thick. I added some water to it to loosen it up, and we put it in the big container. I'm going to put that one down first, and we'll kind of see how they respond to it. Like I said, we've done this before, and so I do know that they like it and they enjoy it, but sometimes if it's different, if they haven't had it in a while, they might be like, what the heck is that? But here we go. We're just going to plop it down in that and see. Oh, these girls are going crazy. Oh, look at you. Can't even see that. They went right to it, and they're going crazy. Look at them. They're losing their minds. All right, so we'll try to keep this in the frame for you. And here, I'll just show you. Okay, I opened the, this is the water one. This one still is a little watery. This one has a really sweet has a really sweet smell to it. It smells like wet, sweetened corn. Earlier it smelled a little funky, but now as I just opened it, it kind of has a sweet smell to it. These have they definitely have a fermented smell, that's for sure. So, okay, so we're going to give them that one. We'll see, where can you see it? Right here? Let's see if they come over to that. All right, so they're going crazy over that one. Oh, they knocked that one over. All right. All right, so now we're going to open the whey, and they're just losing their minds in here. They're so excited. So we're going to do the whey. Just give it one more little stir. This one probably smells the best. It smells like the cleanest and the sweetest. Yeah, I don't know. These are all such great options. I would say the one that smells the weirdest is the sourdough starter. But sourdough starter already kind of smells funny anyway. So But this is the whey with the vinegar in it. We're gonna plop this on down in here too. So let's see. You can see right there. We'll see if they come over there. They're just going to town. I'm gonna go feed the sheep, and then we'll come back and see if they've moved away from the little feed bowls at all, to see if we can see which one they kind of dominated, or if maybe all of them are gone. Who knows? We'll find out. So let's go feed the sheep real quick. Where are you going? We have very brave chickens. They do tend to walk along the snow, which is funny because I've heard that chickens are snow blind and that they don't really see very well in the snow. But they, I mean, you can see all their little tracks and dog tracks. Yeah, this girl's coming out too. What's up, girl? All right, I'll go get some hay for the sheep. All right, so we're gonna cover that back up. I'm just gonna grab a little bit for them because they actually have already eaten once today, but they seem to, with the 4 boys out here, they seem to need a little bit more in the afternoon. So we'll go check that out. Whew, it's actually very nice out here today. Temperature wise, everything is like melting, so we're definitely over that 32 degrees. And it feels so good. What's up, sheepers? You ready for a little afternoon snack? Snack time. Hi, how's it going? This mess on your head is so funny to me. He gets, okay, so obviously with sheep, they have that lanolin, which is that really like almost greasy substance. And his kind of like comes to the surface on his head. And it just gets so dirty. Don't eat that little tie there. Don't eat that tie, David. All right, buddy. You can go eat some snacks. Okay, bye. Okay. Okay, let's check these out. The cat's getting in there. All right, so we have, this is an empty bowl. This one was just over here. Look at how well they cleaned it out. Like really, honestly, if you want to save money on chicken feed and don't let a lot go to waste, definitely ferment it. Look at, there's just a little bit of remnants in there that they can't really get with their beaks. And I mean, I don't know if corn and chicken scratch is good for cats, but this cat might lick it out. He's trying to eat this one. Yummy. Yeah. Those are good, huh? Okay, so that one's almost gone. We got, she's got a dirty face. Okay, so this is kind of funny. She is like in this bowl. So this is, her name's Chill. We don't name all of our chickens, but this one actually has a name because she has a cross beak. And you can see she has a cross beak. So she's never had an issue with actually eating. So it's never been a reason to call her. She does great. Clearly, she's dominating this one over here. So I think this one's almost clean. I just want to see in there. Can I just see in there? Look at that. They're dominating these. Well, there you have it. If you want an easy way to stretch your dollar on chicken feed, do the fermentation. If you do it, let me know in the comments down below. And if you have done this before and your chickens love it, let me know. I'd love all the feedback and the information. Oftentimes these kind of videos are so informative when it comes to actually reading the comments, because so many other homesteaders and chicken keepers have information that they can share. So definitely leave a comment and read the comments, and who knows what you can learn. All right, now go ferment some feed. Have a wonderful, blessed day.
What are you doing down there? Can you show me what you're doing with this chicken food? Is this your own little experiment? Are you transferring them? Oh, hi.